All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Nashville Superspeedway. Appreciate you guys joining us early this morning. We've been joined by Riley Herbst. Riley, thanks so much for spending some time with us this morning. Before we get started with questions from the media, I just would like to know, have you had a chance to get out in Nashville at all this week or this weekend, or have you pretty much stayed close to the track?
Yes, not this weekend. Usually it's a nice, fun getaway to get down on Broadway, but with it being super hot and running the Cup race as well, I am staying close to the racetrack and not going down to town because it might be a slight problem. So we're staying close to the racetrack this week.
Trying to make good decisions, right? All right, we'll go ahead and open for questions for Riley. If you have one, we'll work to get a mic to you. And we'll start in the back.
Mark Carroll, PR, and good morning, Riley. How would you describe what you guys have kind of gone through this season? You guys ended last year on fire. You started the year, pretty well, just picking up where you left off, and then there were some bumps in the road. How do you look at this whole thing?
Yeah, I think it's super interesting, to be honest with you, because last week was actually our first back-to-back top 10 of the year, which was a big surprise to me, but that just kind of showed how fast we are to get stage points and be sixth in points. So I feel like if we could finish where we've been running, I felt like we would probably be first or second in points, but we've had awful finishes. So, it just shows how much speed we have, because last year we finished really bad and we were really bad in points. But this year we're finishing bad and we're still pretty high in points, so that just means we have to execute, put everything together, and I think we can close in on the gap.
My other question is, with the situation at Stewart-Haas, I've heard several things about what you may or may not be up to. What can you tell us about what you're working on? Are you working on a Cup deal? Are you working on, what are you working on right now to solidify your future?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, but it's not really just Riley Herbst, it's Monster Energy as well. So the biggest thing is trying to see what's right for me, what's right for Monster Energy, and I have really good people around me with Josh Jones and Kevin Harvick trying to guide me in the right position, and I'm going to lean on their experience. I have last year, I'm going to again this year, and there's a lot of options on the table, so we're looking forward to everything and hearing everybody out.
Are those options Cup options?
It's all three series.
All right, we'll go to John.
John Newby, alt driver. So at Kansas, when you were in the Cup car, it took a little bit to kind of get up to speed and get comfortable. Do you kind of have a better handle on what was the biggest hurdle you had to overcome early in that race?
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, I don't think I ever got up to speed at Kansas. It was pretty dismal. So we're looking for hopefully a little bit more competitive pace this weekend at Nashville. But yeah, they just drive so different. It's just completely 180, and it just took me a while to wrap my head around it, and I still don't think my head's fully wrapped around it. So the main goals is just to be a little bit more competitive at Kansas and try to find some more pace.
So when you said kind of wrapping your head around it, can you give me a better idea of what that was? Was it like the aero differences or something else entirely?
Well, the tire patch is so much bigger. The steering is way different than a truck and Xfinity car. The aero balance is just crazy. The throttle pedals, they're not hanging pedals. They're mounted on the floor. It's just small things that you wouldn't think are huge, but they actually, when you grow up doing something one way and then you hop into something and it's completely different, it's really hard for people to adjust, at least for me. And but I've been doing a lot of homework, and hopefully we're going to be a little bit better this week than we were at Kansas.
All right, go ahead.
Riley Herbst, PRN, and this is a two-part question and a follow-up to Mark's. There's a school of thought that a good Xfinity Series ride is better than a mediocre Cup ride, and yet other drivers feel like just getting to the Cup Series as fast as you can, whatever you have to drive to get there. Which one of those schools of thought would you say you adhere to, number one? And then the follow-up to that is, do you feel any additional pressure, like each race is now an audition, especially when you're running both races this weekend?
I don't feel like, well, I'll go to your first point. At least for myself and my sponsor, it's important to be in competitive rides. I think that's the easiest way to learn, is surround yourself with good people and put yourself in good equipment. So that's first and foremost. So I think that's going to be our priority for us this offseason, where we land, is to be in a ride that's extremely competitive, whether it be in any three series. Your second point was what?
Do you feel like each race is an audition?
Oh, Yeah, I don't, honestly. And the reason why I tell you that is because I felt like I've surrounded myself with good people. So if we go out and have a good run tomorrow and Sunday in the Cup car, I don't think that solidifies anything. And if I go out and do what I did at Kansas, I don't think that solidifies anything either. It's just about learning. It's about completing all the laps. And it's about becoming a better race car driver.
Lee Spencer, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio and CatchFence.com. Were your 3 top 10s and 2 podium finishes here the reason why you chose this race to run Cup?
No. I didn't really get much of a choice. It was kind of what my crew chief Davin or Stevo wanted me to do, what Greg Zipadelli wanted me to do, what was available at Rick Ware Racing. So it was a kind of mix of accumulation, and at the end they gave me a list of a few racetracks and I got to pick. So it wasn't really like, ooh, in January, Nashville. It wasn't really like that.
They kind of nicknamed this place Nash Vegas as a Las Vegas native. What do you think about that, nickname?
I think it's cool. Obviously, from Las Vegas, I don't think anything compares to the Strip. And what Las Vegas has to offer, I feel like it's the greatest city in the country by any means. But I have had a lot of fun down on Broadway, and hopefully I can come back here and have some more fun.
All right. Any final questions for Riley? Okay, we'll take one more from Lee.
So you finished 3rd 2 years ago, 2nd last year. You only have 1 place left to go.
I hope so. It would make things a lot easier if we were able to win. I feel like that's the small piece we're lacking this year from being a true Championship 4 contender is just our playoff points are a little bit smaller than we would want at this time in the season. But I think our pace-wise and our team, I think that's our mentality. And I feel like if we can get a win here early in the season, then we can go and chase some more stage points and put ourselves in a deep, deep playoff hunt.
Caleb Barnes, FrenchRush.com. So we've seen the 51 car have some speed and with Justin the last few weeks. Do you have any heightened expectations coming into this weekend? What do you look for as you're running this weekend?
Yeah, no, I feel like Justin's done a really good job. Him and his crew chief, Chris, have done a really good job together. But I don't think that really puts any more pressure or expectations on myself today and tomorrow just because he's been at this quite a long time. And my goal is simple, is to complete all the laps and get as much experience as I can for whatever may happen in the future.
All right. Any final questions? Well, Riley, we know you have a busy day, busy weekend, especially busy day today. So thank you for spending some time with us before you get started here in just a little bit.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, there's the checkered flag. Great job, driver.